Oh my god, guys, have you ever seen something like this? Oh my god, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Four of them in top 14 cards. Hello everyone, it's Sloth and today very special deck, special video. We will actually, like we usually joke, we brew, we have fun. Not today. We are full tryhard mode, we're full tryhard deck, and there's a reason for this. So that's why you have stats in the next block. Of course, feel free to skip away if you don't like the rambling, but I wanted to have intro first because I wanted to mention a few things about the deck and why was it covered. Because originally I didn't want to cover this deck at all. I actually ignored it completely. But to be fair, after playing this deck, I felt that this is probably, at least for me, the best deck to grind rank in the format. And I said about after playing a lot of mono black games, after playing a lot of decks, like this is the most efficient deck I have seen so far. And my results, like I have played a lot of games. I'm not sure how many, but between 30 and 50 I think. And all of them felt the same, completely dominating. So it doesn't feel like a streak or luck. It feels like the deck is absolutely smashing the ladder right now, at least in my meta. And even against like top decks like mono black, we are actually favored. When I was playing mono black, I remember that when I saw this turn 1 island into consider, I wanted to scoop, and my win rate was like 30% against mono blue, I believe. And that's exactly in line with the stats that we are getting with this one being on the other side. So if you hate mono black, this might be your choice. And this is also the main reason I wanted to cover this deck. You as a viewer want the best decks. Of course you like brews, but I also felt some responsibility. So a lot of people struggle with getting rank, either gold, platinum, diamond, mythic, high mythic. And I think it's important to provide just this ironclad way to get there, because I think this deck just absolutely blows the competition, at least after me playing with many decks and with this one. It didn't feel close. I'm pretty honestly surprised the win rate on average on this deck is lower. Maybe this is because of this version, because I'm running a different version than the popular ones. We don't use Delver. So maybe that's the secret, or maybe we are just playing a bit better. Maybe, who knows, hard to say. So this is my idea for the showing this deck. I wanted to give you a deck that is extremely efficient, not only on the win rate, but also time-wise, because the games with this one are short. So it means that if you have limited time, I know, you come back from work, you have few hours just to play, and you want to get this rank done. This might be the deck. This might be the deck, because the game are dominant, quick, efficient, and they're still fine. When I was playing Boros, I died on the inside every minute. With this one, I actually had a lot of fun. As a control mage, it's really fun to counter every single spell from your opponent, and the fact that whatever opponent does, it doesn't matter if you play it right, is in a way satisfying. I know, it's dirty, it's really dirty deck, but you might like it more than you think if you are a control mage. Alright, so let's go into some deck explanation. I want to get more advanced strategy than usually. So sorry for the wrong intro. I felt that there's some need to, talk why this deck, why now, why so late, because I know it was all over YouTube and I actually avoided it on purpose, but I was shocked how good this deck is. When I started playing this, I feel that you should know. I feel that you should know. Especially if you struggle with ladder, it might be your solution in my opinion. And also for rares. Only 4 rares, so extremely cheap to make a top tier deck, which is also a factor. So let's go into the card choices, because they are really important. I'm running the version with Spell Pierce, and even though we only have one of them, I took Make Disappear from this. I feel this is extremely extremely strong card in the deck, and I think you should not skip Spell Pierce. The fact that you have a 1 mana play means that on the draw you can negate a lot of good plays from your opponent, but most importantly, nobody expects Spell Pierce, even in this deck. It means that you can bait, like you can consistently bait your opponent into playing Emperor into this Spell Pierce. You will see it in the video. You need to play so aggressively that when you think they have Emperor, tap everything except 1 mana. 90% of players will play the Wandering Emperor and you counter it for 1 mana, completely switching the tempo for the game. And you also bait them because they want to cast it on your main phase, and you will force them to cast it on the end step because they think it goes through, and it doesn't. So one Spell Pierce will change nearly every game. Alright, so this is why this choice. Fading Hope, you have to have them. Remember, in this deck, except Otawara, this is your only removal. You have 4 removals in the deck. If something goes through your counter spells, you only have 4 cards that answer it. Other than this, you need to start going into some weird creature fights. So value your Fading Hope, especially in the mirror. You need to think how you use them. I have seen so many mono blue players that are just wasting. Basically what they do is you cast the Djinn, they cast Fading Hope, you say okay, they draw card, do nothing, and you replay the Djinn and it's the same, just 1 turn later and they lost the card. That's not how you want to play. You want to play it when it kills your opponent in some way or completely reverses his counter spell play, whatever. You need to force situation when you counter the recast of the Djinn. If you cannot counter it, don't Fading Hope it. If you can't win, don't Fading Hope it. Syncopate, amazing, great card. For this reason, you sometimes want to go more lands than usually, even if you have 5 or 6, especially in mono blue mirror. Lands do matter. The player with more lands has advantage because he can double counterspell and the other player cannot. So it means they will get Djinn and you won't. It means that you need Fading Hope to keep, balance, and they will recast it next turn. So definitely important part, keep it in mind. Impulse. I think this card deserves its place. It gives you a lot of instant and sorceries, but what more, with Djinn you can cast it for 1. The amount of ramping power, both on Tolarian Terror and Djinn, is insane, and the fact you can fish for both counterspell and first for discover, usually those are your targets, very rarely Fading Hope that will win you the game, is definitely worth a spot. So usually you don't like the fact that you cycle cards for card. In this deck you actually want to do it, especially that it's a turn to play, so pretty early, before you can cast first, so you can start ramping the Tolarian Terror, and this 1 reduction might be the difference between casting this for 1 and for 2. If you have multiple Tolarian Terrors, it is a big difference. Make this appear, extremely good card. However, it falls behind later, so very often you want to discard it to first for discovery, because when you cast this, you can potentially reduce Tolarian Terrors by 3 mana, and you can pump your Djinn by 3 attack, and that's huge. So sometimes you go for land, but sometimes even if you have island, you want this cost reduction, especially if you hit something like 3 Tolarian Terrors. Reducing them to 1 from 4 is completely different game. If you play all of them, if you play against deck with no sweepers and no control elements, they just crumble in 2 turns. So definitely something to remember, and of course you want to cast it with Djinn. And don't forget, if you have second Djinn, which sometimes happen, you can start cycling it for 1, which is insane and will probably win you the game very quickly. Negate, of course, this is mainly for pairing with Djinn. Of course you cast it whatever it's important, but the optimal play is having 4 mana, casting Djinn, having Negate, and preferably when your opponent has something like 4 mana and he's tapped at the end step. So he cannot Inferno Grasp at the end step and then play something main phase. And you generally want to play your creatures depending on the situation, but if your opponent has 2 mana with black, try to not cast Djinn, try to cast Tolarian Terror. If your opponent is tapped out, then you can cast Djinn, but you generally want at least 1 protection spell, and if you have only 1 creature, you need to protect it harder. So then spend, time to have 2 extra mana, so you have Negate and make disappear or whatever, or even Spell Pierce. Usually he's tapped out by his second play. So those are the reasons, and one of the big reasons, we don't play Delver in the deck. I have seen that nearly all the popular versions run Delver. I personally don't like it. I'm not saying it's right. I see the advantage of playing Delver, but the fact, there's something I don't like about Delver. Usually when you play Tolarian Terror, it's around 2 or 3 clock. They usually spend blockers first, and you usually have 2 Tolarian Terrors at the point when you cast them. So it's usually around 2 or 3 turns. When you have Delver, it's basically a 7 turn clock, and if Delver dies at any points, you didn't really got too much. And the fact that Djinn usually hits first time for 8, second time for around 12 or 13, it means that this single-handedly will kill your opponent, and it doesn't make a huge difference if he's at 20 or 11. It makes a little bit of difference, but I'm not sure if you are not losing more control over the game by playing Delver. What I think Delver is great at, it's great at mirrors. It's really hard to beat Delver because you cannot Fading Hope it, and you cannot counter it because they always have so much mana that they can just add the X that you pay with Syncopate. The only way to counter it is basically Ertai Scorn, which is extremely mana intensive because they always play it as a first card. So it means that they have tapped 1 island and you have tapped 3 islands. This puts you at huge disadvantage, and they can follow up with Djinn. So in reality you have to go through with the Delver. So Mirror is one of the few ways that it probably gives you an edge, but so far I didn't have huge troubles by playing around it. At some point you have Djinn and they don't. Or if they have 1 less counter spell because you don't run Delver. So I honestly prefer this version, and I think the second big part, why we play Tolarian Terrors. Some versions play only with Djinn. I think that Tolarian Terror is amazing at stabilizing the weird situations, and what I've noticed, especially that the black decks, not sure how long or why, but they nearly all play the sleeper version, and they nearly always start with a 1-drop, and they very often follow it with Tenacious Underdog, Trespasser, or another sleeper, or this Beholder thing, the Quarantines. So they're hard to kill. You cannot counter all of them. You can Fading Hope maybe 1 of them at some point in the game, but the rest is there. You don't have sweepers, you don't have ways to deal with them. And Djinn, while okay, it's not the best way to deal with them. And Tolarian Terror, I have found that you always have this emergency plan that you can dump a lot of spells with First of Discovery and just cast multiple terrors, and while they have the tools to answer them sometimes, but usually if they play so many aggro, 1-drops, 2-drops and so on, they usually don't have a lot, and it's very resilient to Inferno Grasp, so it gives you much more tempo because they don't really want to main phase pay 4 mana into killing one of the creature. They cannot invoke, they cannot Liliana, they cannot do anything basically. So I have found that Terror is very good at defending, while Djinn is just better at killing your opponent. And sometimes you need to defend because you cannot kill them in time. Usually you are a bit behind, because while you can counter a lot of creatures, you cannot counter all of them. Usually if they have multiple 1-drops, 1 or 2 will go through. And the second most important thing is that mono-white is a thing. And of course it's one of our worst matchups. You will see it in the stats. Somehow we made it through, maybe because of Tolarian Terrors, because we are actually heavily in the winning side of this matchup, but we shouldn't. But maybe this is due to Terror, because this is really good card against any kind of aggro deck. When mono-red plays against you, they might kill Djinn, especially that, they attack you with something, and if you want to be defensive, you need to block with this 4 toughness. So it means it dies to any kind of burn with no tax. Tolarian Terror is very different. If they deal 2 damage, they need exactly 3 damage burn spell, and they need to pay the ward on top of it. So it's much harder for them to answer, and you can always you know, force them to pay with Spell Pierce or Make Disappear, and suddenly after paying Ward, they don't have this mana. And this means Tolarian Terror goes through. The fact that this costs usually 1 mana, you play it as a 1 mana creature, and this costs 3 mana means that you can protect it way, way better. And as long as it is protected, they cannot attack you and they cannot kill you. And that gives you additional time to play Djinn. So I think Tolarian Terror is worthy addition, I liked it, and I prefer this version over the other ones. And well, the results are there. The results definitely show something is right, because I played a lot of games with this one. So that was my intro. Sorry that it was so long, but I wanted to, you know, go through like more advanced settings and give you like actual real insight how to play the deck at, you know, higher level and higher win rate. And I hope that I did a good job. Tell me in the comments if that was extremely long and you basically are sleeping at this point, or you found it valuable, because I think, especially if you aim for high Mythic, you need to know those things or you will just mess up the games and lose games that you shouldn't have. So hopefully it will be helpful. So let's go into the stats. I will try to make them short to compensate. And let's go into full try-hard mode. And don't worry, tomorrow we will be brewing again. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. Alright, and now stats. Reverse this time. So if you are still here, you are the real chat, and those are the stats. So 71% over 17 games, but I actually have played much more just with the different versions because I was testing different ones, and I feel that I was between like 60-70% with every version because I climbed like crazy. So yeah, I think it's much bigger sample and the results will be the same if you play the deck well, of course. Against Mono Black, like you can see the matchups here. One comment, we shouldn't be so high on against Mono White. I guess we had good draws or we just outplayed them. And we should be higher on Mono Black. We should have around 70% win rate from my experience in this matchup particular. Against this one, if you are a good player, you will have more than 50%, and that's all it counts. So those are the matchups. Those are the last games. Yeah, from 900 to top 400, and it could be higher. So thank you. Those are the stats, and enjoy the games. Alright, we need to gatekeep the numbers from the percentage people. So our opponent goes first, really strong start for him. We'll see how it goes. Syncopates are amazing. If we were on the play, that would be perfect hand nearly. So we need to hope that his start is slow, and so far it's okay. With Fading Hope we have much more flexibility, because if he makes a 2-drop, we can just bounce it. Alright. Now we are really stabilizing. Now we need to hit the third land and we should be fine for the rest of the game. Wedding announcement. Let's be honest, this is a prime target for counterspell. I fear that we might not hit a land. And it is confirmed. The other option was to give him the wedding announcement and Fading Hope, but it would be a very bad play just to scry. That's a Kaito, and because we missed the land, we cannot counter it. However, we can get rid of the token, which is really important. So this actually helps us. We need to dump a really good card. Hopefully, that's enough. Okay. Alright, alright. As long as he cycles, it's not the worst. I don't think we can play the Djinn. Not yet. We need to have at least one counter spell. You know, the one we dumped, that's exactly what we need, and a land. Alright, let's get back to the good old Trespasser train. Of course we need to counter, it's very scary. Even though we don't run too many creatures, the fact that he can exile all the spells is devastating for this deck. So you definitely don't want to allow it. We could go for the Terror. They cannot remove it, but this might be Make Disappear. Is this a kind of token deck? Yeah, there's high chance they play Make Disappear if they play a lot of tokens. So I think this is the play. With First for Discovery, we might cycle actually 3 instants and play them for nearly 3. If we hit land from anything, like, you know, we definitely have options. Tenacious Underdog is extremely good for us. He even drew before, so he doesn't really get any value except Cardo. I actually think it's one of the better plays that our opponent could make for us. But we still need to get to draw to something good. I should probably cast it before this draw, by the way, but I'm a dummy, so you know, it's fine. Man, that's definitely a little bit too many things. I need the land, so we decline. I don't think we need too many of them, and I think Consider can be scrapped, because we are a bit of, you know, behind on tempo. Okay, I think this is the moment. We have Ertai Scorn activated, and we can also go for first depending on how he plays. Token is not scary now. We don't fear Cardo so much because he won't have time to cast those spells. However, it really depends what he does right now. This looks like Emperor, doesn't it? I'm a bit scared what the card is. I think we cannot risk and we cannot tap. And we of course do it before attacking because we want to maximize the damage. Okay, that's actually a pretty good outcome. Those games are very delicate. Oh my god, English hard. Pretty like precise decisions. You need to make everything exactly right. Djinn is important. We can go double terror and just protect the terrors. I kinda think that Djinn might be important. On the, you know, on the ground it will be hard to kill him. Alright, so let's analyze. We could replay it, but I think double terror is just better, right? That's a really hard choice. What is this deck actually? Mythic, Wedding. Not great against Djinn. That's like a full greed mode. And we are going full aggression mode, hoping that he won't be able to answer all of them. Especially that when we draw the next one, we can protect the next one. So, like, the problem is that he's, like, for him, the problem is that his deck is more aggressive than defensive. And he just, you know, attacks with the tokens on ground. He doesn't have great way to protect himself. And it just turned out to not be true, I guess. Definitely an impulse turn. Okay, so we are a great player and that's the only reason we are saved. Definitely not because we top deck the only card that could help. Oh my god. Oh yes, the pure skill was displayed. And we don't have time for the Kaita, of course. We just need to go face as soon as possible. And you know, face is the place. The terrors emerge. I love this moment when at some point in the game suddenly like 4 terrors come from, you know, the water, whatever, ocean. And then you need just to answer them somehow. So the problem for him is that he knows we have a counter spell, and this is extremely mana intensive. Oh, Interceptor! Did not expect this one, that's scary. We have only one chance to counter something. This is extremely important. What will he choose as his play? If he plays Warden, he might have Make disappear. This will be probably the worst outcome for us. With Djinn, he definitely knows that we can double counter spell. Rite of Oblivion. First, pay word, my friend. And honestly, this kind of decisions is something you should never make. Like, this is a pure bait. And he basically lowered his main play, just hoping, like basically crossing his fingers, I hope he sucks. And we said, no man, we don't. And that's it. Like, he might have double spell still. Yep. And that's all she wrote. He misplayed it. This play was pure bait and hoping that opponent doesn't know how to play this deck. So he basically split his best turn in half. We wouldn't be able to counter 2 spells. If he had any removal, he would win. Alright, so this hand is not great for a start. I don't really like it, but we'll take it. This is the last turn. If he doesn't play anything, we are good. If he plays something relevant, we have trouble. And we probably need to cycle with first a lot of spells, so we can use the terrors to block whatever comes through now. I really hope he lacks this 2-drop. Alright. No double white, but it shouldn't be a difference. Bankbuster. Not great, but maybe not the worst. Scare. Oh my god, like I was thinking, why is it 6 colorless? And I think it's the original cost, I just never seen it. Alright. He will draw a card. I think we can be passive. He might go grid mode and just try to draw cards until he outvalues us. And that would be perfect because our card is better. But he cannot know this, you know? Scrying definitely helps a little bit. Oh, My Little Pony. That's cute. I think it's like this, you know, the good cause thing, so props to him. Alright, my turn. Perfect, so I think he wants to draw. Oh my god, it's Emperor, isn't it? Oh, Emperor, I hate you. Thank you. This is the best top deck of the whole deck. Like really, it's actually the biggest deal. Okay. Maybe I play around Emperor a bit too much. Oh my god, it's some kind of vehicle deck? Fading Hope is extremely important in that case. Okay. No checking out. If he has Emperor, he got it. Okay. Well played, well played. But we can still make it work. Especially that he goes for the tokens right now. We decline. What do we discard? I think one make disappear and I think one consider. So we decrease cost by 3, that's quite a lot. Now we go here. Hard counter spells are too slow, we need something better here. And we actually will do this. Fading Hope is not the worst. Alright, so we decline. What are the spells we need to discard? I think we need to discard 2. So let's go for Syncopate. This will be 2, right? This is the first one, this is the second one, so we can get rid of Island as well. Roar! That was my impression of Tolarian Terror, and that was really accurate, believe me. You gotta believe me on the word. Have you noticed that he has like a pig nose? Tolarian Terror has a pig nose. Alright, it's super late, sorry for that. So this will be hard, but the good part about this whole thing is that Emperor needs to pay the ward, and it's not an instant right now. So let's see the drop. This is a little bit of gamble from his side. Let's see if it worked out. To be fair, it's not the best draw. It's something, but it's definitely not the top 3 drop. Alright. Alright. I think we need to go for face. Lifelink might be a big trouble. Oh, those are good planewalkers. Those are good planewalkers, especially Elspeth. She cannot really be ignored. I think with this way, it's a hard choice, but he will have to, like, you know, accept one of those losses, probably, unless he wants to sacrifice shield counter and the token, which is probably good for us. Okay, so the Emperor is down. I'm not super scared about the lifelink because we have Djinn, so it means that we have extremely powerful, like, you know, damage at some point. We can ramp it like to 12 if we really need to. If he would tap out all the creatures, we probably just can kill him next turn. And we still have Negate, so he thinks we are out of options, but he couldn't be far from truth. And that's the key. The first card is non-creature, so it means that the second card might be target for Ertai and Scorn. Yep.
I know there's a hero inside you.
Flying. Flying is good for us. To be honest, like, I don't think I care about the Bankbuster at all. Do I care about the Bankbuster? No. It's just a bloke that doesn't do anything. Oh yes, please. Please do it. Alright, so... flying does not matter, to be honest. Alright. We need to ramp the damage quite high. Well, I guess... Okay, I know the attacks. Now I need to figure out the rest of the play. If we do double... Okay, it's fine. 3 mana is enough for double Ertai Scorn. But we do, anyway, a lot of islands. Alright, so the attack is like this. If he wants to... Well, to be fair, like, let's be honest. Face is the place. Because this makes double, you know, clock. And we have basically 3 counter spells. Nah, nope. Let's see the amount of nopes that we need to provide. Nope. This deck is so silly. Oh, I would say I feel bad about playing it, but you can see I kinda enjoy it more than I should. Okay, nice. Alright, again on the draw, and we are against top 100 Mythic. Oh, we are climbing. Alright, Spell Pierce, you need to make a difference this game. So, the hand is really good, but being on the draw always sucks with this deck super hard, and we seem to be against mono white, which is basically the worst matchup. Thanks, CGB. To be fair, that's really good counter to mono blue. Okay, sure. Let's use the Consider. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Hopefully we put some fear into our top 93 player in the world. Because we took the card that we seen. So he knows that we have counter spells, because that's what you want to fish. At this point, the bait is completed. Yep, here we are. But fortunately, we have counter spells, and that's huge. As long as you can keep countering stuff, you should be okay. The dog basically does not matter. His 5 cards matter. I like how he always baits for our mistakes. Oh, that's interesting. This is Emperor. And you know what is the best way to bait the Emperor? Play Impulse with 1 mana, and that's why we have Spell Pierce. Oh yes. Can't outplay us, my friend. Alright, so this is the decision. We don't want the island. Do we want the terror? How many we have? We have 4 already. Wow, that's a lot. Terror is amazing against this deck. This is one of the reasons why we have it in the deck. I knew he will play the Emperor. They are always so greedy. What is the percentage he plays Spell Pierce? 100%. Always. Alright. That was fun round. Now back to countering everything. This won't be perfect. This is not a hard counter and he has a lot of mana. So I'm pretty sure something goes through this turn and it will hurt. Yep. The pain begins. Yeah. We need to take it. It hurts, but we need to take it. It's end step, so this 2 mana shouldn't count too much. That's a bad draw. And Fading Hope, while not optimal, it's good because it boosts the Tolarian Terror, so we get acceleration. On the bright side, we have very strong creature in the board, so we will be able to protect some stuff. He went all in. He thought that we are out of options. We need to prove him wrong. Well, so far, it seems that we are outplaying our hard counter deck, basically. He's tapped out. Let's go for the impulse. Oh man, those are really hard choices. Terror is amazing. First is amazing. I will go full greed mode. It might be a bad chance, like a bad direction for the game, but I hope that we can kill him before he answers and gets the value. Especially, like, if I didn't have the impulse in hand, I wouldn't play like it, because then I would be completely out of options. So 3 islands from the top would completely destroy me. No. Do it. Alright, that had no sense, but it was still pretty cool. He didn't have 2-drop before, so I hope he still has this mana unused. And so far, that's the case. So he's at 15. Very cool. We go Impulse main phase. Negate or Syncopate. We have 3 mana. Pay 3. What are his best draws? Wedding Announcement, Emperor. Wedding Announcement, Emperor. If he plays a land, we cannot counter the Wedding Announcement. I think Negate is better. I think everything that isn't hit by Negate, Otawara will hit. And I really hope that he goes a little bit too greedy and at some point we can bounce his blocker and kill him 1 turn faster. Very good choice, very good choice. We killed the Companion because that's a very bad bounce target. And guess what? Surprise, my friend. Man, I feel that we are absolutely smashing this guy. Oh man, by the way, his deck is hard counter to ours. Oh my god, that's a fair one. Okay, you got me there. That's exactly the 6 mana. Definitely did not expect a farewell in this kind of deck. We need to counter Elspeth, she's way too threatening. And, well, this top deck definitely wasn't the greatest. So, now, who will draw the better? Fair. So he's trading lands for cards. Okay, Djinn is amazing though, probably one of the best in our deck. However, our opponent exiled the graveyard. Smartly though. I'm keeping the island because we might hit the first, and then we want something to discard. Alright, you got it. It lets us scry, it protects us, and we can stop maybe drawing islands from the top, because this is my least favorite phase of the game, when I need a good top deck and I keep drawing islands. So Fading Hope is basically 1 turn acceleration. And he will need another removal for the Djinn. Okay. Interesting plan.
Let your blade do the talking.
Interesting plan. Ertai Scorn. And it paid out for him. Alright, we don't need more than this. He doesn't have blue, so we don't need extra mana for anything. We keep this one for the first all the time. No artifact. I think he should sacrifice it. Like, he has 6 for farewell. I don't think he needs more.
I have got new moves to teach.
So he thinks he can race us? No chance. Well, I guess he has a little bit, because we need to kill Emperor first, so we waste 1 attack. Bankbuster. In top deck wars, that's a pretty strong card. We need to counter it. If he has another removal, if that is the removal, that will be good for him. Oh my god, no. Not like this. Not like this. Alright. This is forced attack. If we don't attack Emperor, this will be tapped and they will just use -2. I guess we can play 1. Alright, full tryhard mode. I usually just check the graveyard, highlight cards. Oh, I'm thinking, okay, cool. Now he thinks we might have Fading Hope or something. It's not a high chance, but it's higher than what we draw from the top. Negate. Oh man, that's getting so close. So close. I might have flashbacks of my Negate against Farewell, who knows. Yeah, I didn't go for the bluff, I'm too lazy at this point. Oh my god, not the flyer with shield that doesn't hit our counters. Oh man. We are doing exactly the wrong cards. We have to do it. We need to hit Fading Hope from the top. You are not a Fading Hope from the top. Oh man, that's so close. I think we need to go like full tryhard, and I think we will lose. The point is, we need to make him scared for Fading Hope. The problem is, if he thinks logically, he knows that if we ever had Fading Hope, we would already win the game. So it's pure bluff, like there's nothing else except bluffing right now. But the point is that he sees that our situation is really bad and we are still in the game. Ouch, that hurts. That hurts because we need to sacrifice the Djinn just to survive, even though it's lethal next turn basically, if we draw anything. And we even need to give it up for free. Oh no, the pride comes before the fall. I was punished. Well, to be fair, like, the whole point is that I never expected Farewell in the deck that is full of creatures. But yeah, I guess I should expect it in the end. I don't think there's any way we can win this. Let's see the draw, but I think in the end we fall. Good game, my friend. Well played. Oh, I'm so mad. I definitely could have won this game. I misplayed. The grid. Alright, so our hand is perfect, but we are on the draw, so it will be already hard. The main moment in the whole game will be, will our opponent have a 1 and 2 drop? If they whiff on them, I think we win. On the play with 1 drop. Oh, you have to love it. Will he follow with Tenacious Underdog like a real champ? Alright. Oh my god, stop. So, the fact that we are on the draw and our opponent had perfect start already puts us super behind. So right now we need to go into Tolarian Terror. This is our play and this is how we hope to win, but Concealing Curtains is very hard to, you know, go around due to menace. So we have a long way to go. Fortunately, Field of Ruin completely smashes their plan and they have whiffed. Alright, do we go for the Djinn? Oh, that's a hard choice. That's a really hard choice. If they have a removal, playing Djinn means that we probably lose. But I still think it's a good choice. I think it's a good choice. Man, really hard game from the start. Our opponent whiffed on his third land, if I recall, so I'm banking that he doesn't have enough cards. Like, he's on the... Okay, I'm chickening out. It's like fair. I'm just saying no. Okay, and this is the moment when I think we started winning again. If we're fighting Syncopate, that's completely fine. They will take the Tolarian Terror. That's something to consider. I think we are forced to raise them. Oh man, this will be hard. I will take it. One of the reasons I made this play is to double my Djinn attack power, because we will be against a 3 mana attack creature with 14 HP. So we need to go fast, we need to go full Sonic mode. And Negate is important, make disappear is important. The problem is that we don't have any kind of cycling. And I actually will do... Okay, I guess they will know it anyway. If they get rid of Tolarian Terror, which I think they will, it means that we get the Djinn and a hard draw. And then we can go really ham. Like the fact that we can use Syncopates, basically like +2 for the mana cost, is pretty huge. So this is pretty hard choice. Like, we are far from Tolarian Terror, but honestly they won't die to the Terror. And they might go for Make Disappear or Negate. But it's a hard choice. Yeah, I understand this one. They didn't have like a great call or overall. Alright, so we can go for double Djinn. Okay, so I'm pretty sure this is the play. It looks weird, but this is I kill you in next turn play. Our opponent has only one spell most likely, and this is not the spell. So we just need to pump it to 8, each one of them. Maybe I should cast counterspell just to cast the counterspell, but we'll just go for the first. This seems like Inferno Grasp mana, which is super sus. We might... He doesn't attack? There's no sense, like... No reason to not attack. However, I will chicken out. If he didn't attack, we have more time than I assumed, I guess. I think they might have Inferno Grasp and wait until we tap out completely. They know with double Djinn we have basically like 3 mana available for counterspells. Yeah, they're probably waiting with something. Like, I get the trigger is from Sleeper, but they have 7 cards. They played only 1 drop, and they didn't attack. They definitely have something in mind. Do you think the third Djinn is enough? Oh man. So, they might go to 4 mana. So it means they can evolve it to 3. They can deal 6 damage if they tap out. That's not enough. That's not enough. So I'm pretty sure they want to use Inferno Grasp on Djinn and then follow up with something. They will die next turn. They cannot pump it to like 8. Like, it's not how it works. Man, no reason to not attack. I have no idea why they played like this. So this is a 1 mana Syncopate. We could cast it for 2 as well, but it's no difference, basically. Alright, so let's just Fading Hope, I guess. All of this is 5/5 and just attack and kill him. Mono blue, victorious yet again. Fighting for top 200 maybe. Okay, so every single time I see we are going first and we have Spell Pierce, my heart is a bit happier. We have Impulse, we have First, we don't have counter spells, so we need to make full effect of this, like a bit of bluffing. I always like to not show that I lack priority. You always think like at least 3 seconds just to show your opponent that, you know, you had decision to make. Impulse will show them that maybe we didn't, but you know, it gives this small hesitation. Negate and Spell Pierce. So this is already 4 colors. Those kind of decks usually play non-creature spells. Actually quite a lot of them usually. But we'll see, we'll see. I'm not sure what exactly the deck is. Like this, there's this, you know, Sister something enchantment deck with Leyline. But it doesn't seem to be this one so far. I don't see green yet. Interesting. I hope they don't play anything, because I definitely need the first. And let's see if they have counter spells. They might, but they don't. Alright, so Fading Hope is a candidate to discard. But what is the other spell? Make Disappear is amazing. Oh man, the Greed again. I really think we shouldn't. We have to do this like this. Terror is amazing. Oh my god, all of those cards are amazing. Which one we don't want? Make Disappear is the only thing that can counter spells. Spell Pierce and Negate can be game winning. I think it's Terror. We just go for the Djinn. Being too greedy on the runs is how we lose the game. Because at some point we might whiff on the islands, and then even though we have full hand of counter spells, he can play 3 spells and we can play 2. And suddenly we do nothing, because we die to whatever goes through. So not really something we can go. So this might be the Emperor, and as always, we will bait them into Emperor. I mean, like, yeah. Okay, first, this is the best, you know, rage bait, because we will pretend we just drew the card. Okay, that's perfect. So 1 land for this card and the second one for playing. Now the Spell Pierce and Djinn into Negate. That's exactly what you want in this deck. Alright, we are drawing like a real champs right now. 1 mana something. Oh my god, it's a Leyline, isn't it? So he looks white and... Okay, he has no green, so it means that it cannot be Leyline. Cut down? Yeah, it's probably cut down. Alright, so cut down cannot hit the Djinn. Something you need to be careful if you have no instants in the graveyard, because then he's 0-4 and he can actually die to cut down. Alright. Alright, so this game will show if Spell Pierce is a good addition. But to be honest, I really like the spell. Like most cases, it's just insanely good. Especially when you are on the draw and you are behind already. When you Spell Pierce some of their like 2 or 3 drop, you just feel like a champion. And let's start with the counter spell tribal. And let's keep countering every single card until the end of the game. This deck is just so lame. Oh, and it's so fun when you are the driver. Alright, Syncopate or Ertai Scorn. We are not guaranteed... Oh, okay, we have 3 mana. For some reason I thought we have 2. Man, those lands. So nice, but so confusing sometimes. Yes, definitely. If that wasn't Trespasser, I could Fading Hope it, but I'm not paying this word. I do not love this play at all. Fading Hope needs to do some heavy lifting here. Enjoy. It's still good for them. let's be honest, it's still good for them. So my plan right now became I Ertai Scorn and make a lot of Tolarian Terrors. Oh man. So I'm not sure what the 3-drop is. It might be Trespasser, that's really not great for us. Oh my god. That's perfect. I could even double counterspell this. Just to activate the terror for 2 and we can double cast the terror then, but then we are out of options. If he has invoked the spell we won't kill him in time. Alright, so Spell Pierce seems better choice overall. Okay. But you can see Spell Pierce is just premium spell. It just always hits something. Oh yes. Yes. Play like this, my friend. Play like this. The terror train! More terrors. Oh my god, that's so hilarious. Oh, I shouldn't enjoy it as much as I do. Let's meet the vampire. We have to kill Soaring, unfortunate. Really unfortunate. But at the same time, we have Impulse. Oh my god, guys, have you ever seen something like this? Oh my god, that's hilarious. That's actually hilarious. Oh my god, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. 4 of them in top 14 cards. Well, he needs to go for Mythic. So that's expected, they always have it. The problem is they are at 12, then they cast another invoke, and they won't have 5 mana in time. That's a very interesting decision to keep attacking. But yeah, he's right. That was a good call. Alright, I promised you tryharding. This is how you try hard. Stops at every main phase. Oh my god, no regret. Just casting. And to be fair, that's probably the best course of action for them. And now they don't need to attack. Oh, they have Sleeper. Oh man, is 4 Tolarian Terrors not enough? Well, if those are our top decks, definitely not. So at least it's force block. Honestly, they shouldn't double block at all. I should try hard a little bit more. But they know if we had Fading Hope, we would already cast it probably. Alright, this is the problem because this will turn into Death Toucher. Okay, we can play one of those. So we always make it the stop as well. I guess he was tapped out, but generally if they cast something at the end step, they will see you don't have anything. Oh my god, the sacrifice since 3 turns. It would be definitely a bit better if we drew, you know, counter spell in our counter spell 3 bar. So, and he can give the Death Touch to the last one, so that's a problem. We need Fading Hope from the top, and hopefully that will be enough. It might be Inferno Grasp, they have exactly the correct mana. Man, the train never stops so far. I think that we won't pull this one out. Like, this victory seems really hard to get right now. Like, we can kill one of those, because it's a force block, but not the other one. Consider might be a good draw. We will see what we get. Oh, a land into land? Syncopate. Turn too late. We have to go like this. No questions asked. Risky, but it will pay out for him. Alright, and we are now into different game. We are now discarding all the cards. This is why I didn't play the land. So we can discard something. Oh my god, he has so much everything. So he will be at 5 and we are at 9. Man, this was some kind of god draw, to be fair, but well, I cannot say it was close because we keep drawing islands. It was good game. It was fun while it lasted, and let's summarize it like this. Yeah, well played by our opponent, definitely.